Thank you so much. Welcome to Georgia, welcome to Tbilisi, and we are very delighted together with the McCain Institute and Bush Center hosting you here in Tbilisi. And we are happy that our 6th Tbilisi International Conference is dedicated to the brave Ukrainian people because they are fighting today to your and our freedom. You know all that Russia is a terrorist country. Unfortunately, world cannot stop them in 2008 here in Georgia, but now it's our duty for everywhere, for all of us, to stop them in Ukraine. And no one else in this world, after Ukrainians, can feel this pain, how the Georgians feel this, because we went through this, and why we think that this war is our war as well, that whenever it was a hard times for Georgia, Ukrainians always stand together with us. And as you are aware, many Georgians, thousands of them, are fighting in Ukraine right now to defend your and our freedom. I would like to thank you, my partner in crime, David Kramer, Evelyn Farkas, and of course the Kurt Walker, who was doing all this amazing stuff last six years together with us. Kurt, thank you so much from here. Your role in this is very important, and thanks a lot for everything. And I would also like to express my gratitude to our, not only the donors, they are our partners, because we were making this conference, and we found this conference together with the US Embassy and UK Embassy in Georgia, NATO Public Diplomacy Office, the Open Society Georgia Foundation, Konrad Adenauer Stiftung, these amazing hotel groups from Stamba and Rooms Hotel and the Ajara group, and last but not least, the Tricolor Studio, who are working with us all the time to make this amazing ambience and design and everything for our conferences. I would also express my gratitude to my Ukrainian women battalion represent here, because we know how hard for you guys to get here and to be with us. But you know, we always say, since the war started in Ukraine, whatever it takes, as long as it takes, we stand for freedom, and we stand for Ukraine. Slava Ukraini.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, my distinct pleasure to introduce to you the new Executive Director of the McCain Institute, Evelyn Farkas.
Thank you very much. Really huge thank you to both of you. Nino, you are the inspiration for all of this, the driving force for all of us being here today. David, it wouldn't be for your network that really makes this possible. Thank you to the sponsors. Thank you to Nino's team at the Economic Policy Research Center, who really have done a phenomenal job putting this together. And of course to Kurt Volker, my predecessor once removed at the McCain Institute, who continues behind the scenes to exercise his great talent. So thank you, all of you, for coming here to the 6th annual conference, Tbilisi Conference. This is the first one since COVID took us all by surprise. Of course, we haven't completely defeated COVID, but it is a great sign that we are here today fighting not only COVID, but really fighting the forces, the dark forces of autocracy, fighting Vladimir Putin, fighting for Ukraine, fighting for Georgia. This is a conference where the best minds from all over Europe and Eurasia and the transatlantic are convened in order to help us think through and to also, frankly speaking, shore up our resources, shore up our strengths, our intellectual strengths and otherwise, so that we can continue this battle, frankly, to save democracy. And I come from the McCain Institute, and as many of you know, I think there probably isn't anyone in the room who doesn't know, or the room, the country maybe, that doesn't know that Senator McCain was a great advocate for democracy in Ukraine. Of course, he would have been very proud to see the Ukrainians fighting the way they are fighting for themselves and for all of us today. He would have been, of course, absolutely aghast at the way the Russians are conducting this war and the fact that they went into the phase that we are in today. He would have been standing up for Georgian democracy today. He would have been exhorting the Georgian government to do more, to put themselves at the front of the line, to actually achieve what the Georgian people would like, which is integration into the European and transatlantic institutions. If he were here today, he would have been much blunter than I can be, I think, as the new director. But, you know, it is a moment now where we all need to look clearly, because these moments only come once a generation. These moments when you can take advantage, like Finland and Sweden are, and joining NATO. And as I said, Moldova and Ukraine are unfortunately taking advantage of a horrible situation to put themselves at the front of the EU line. We would like the same for Georgia. So I really don't want to say anything more except thank you, all of you, and especially to my colleagues on the stage.
Thank you. Evelyn and Nino, thank you very much. So I'm David Kramer. I'm the Managing Director of Global Policy at the George W. Bush Institute, and I'm honored to deliver to you a message from President Bush, the 43rd President of the United States, for this conference. Laura and I send greetings to the people of Georgia and to the participants and attendees at the Tbilisi International Conference. I'm proud that the George W. Bush Institute is one of the partner organizations this year. Georgia has a special place in my memory. During our visit in 2005, Laura and I came to know your beautiful scenery and landscapes, your culture and people. In Freedom Square, I praised Georgians who gathered there in 2003, armed with nothing but roses and the power of convictions to claim their liberty, making Georgia a beacon of liberty for this region and the world. Much has happened since the Rose Revolution, and the Georgian people know all too well the dangers posed by the regime in Moscow. But one thing has remained true during all these years: the desire and commitment of the Georgian people to live in freedom and to anchor their country in institutions like NATO and the EU. We will never relent in our call for Russia to end its occupation of 20% of your nation's territory, and for Moscow to respect your country's sovereignty and territorial integrity. Even when we voice concerns about developments in your country, we do so as friends and allies of Georgia. We want to see Georgia succeed and take its rightful place as a full-fledged member of the democratic community of nations. This is especially true in light of Vladimir Putin's unprovoked and unjustified invasion of Ukraine, something sadly to which Georgians can relate. Georgians can also relate to Ukrainians' desire to live in freedom and enjoy the fruits of liberty. The theme of this year's conference, Slava Ukraini, is a reminder of our support for Ukraine as they defeat and drive out the occupying Russian forces. These are challenging times in many parts of the world, but with sacrifice, hard work, and a commitment to democratic values, freedom can and will prevail. That's why this conference is so important, and it's why I'm so pleased that we at the Bush Institute are part of it. May God bless America. May God bless the people of Georgia and brave freedom fighters around the world. George W. Bush.